What's going on, Doe fam? Back with another video. Hope you guys have been doing well. For today's video is going to be a Bitcoin market analysis, as well as an update on our base native tokens like TOSHI, Alien Base. Also some really major news on base chain that I will also cover. So without further ado, I'm Doe Boxside. I make content on YouTube, X, and CoinMarketCap, so be sure to follow those pages. Come and follow my channel over on X. My handle is @DopeBoxside. But yeah, let's get right into it. First of all, for liquidations, we had a bit of a spike today. We had $300 million in liquidations with $260 million coming to longs. I do expect the volatility to increase this week due to actually FOMC happening in 12 hours. We will get some notes around FOMC around if we're going to have some rate hikes or a stall with the interest rates. I do think we're going to have a stall just purely based on the probabilities as it stands right now. I believe the probability right now is 99.9% we actually stay and have no change. So I do expect that to happen. If this is above 90%, usually that is the case. And I do expect some volatility to happen around the meeting, which happens 12 hours from recording of this video, probably like 11 or 10 hours by the time this video uploads. Next up is liquidations, and let me just refresh it. Obviously, we did have some liquidations the past 24 hours when I think it was $300 million, like I mentioned. And on the weekly, we're actually getting some build up on the lows here. So we might actually have a sweep of the lows during FOMC, which I would prefer, because usually a sweep of the lows means an opposite effect, and more than likely we'll have a leg up to the upside after that. For the long-short ratio, we're actually just seeing a uptrend here, so nothing really to note. We got out of the red printing a few days ago, back on 10th of June, and we haven't really seen another red print since. For the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, we did see some concerning things yesterday when I was saying we did not really want to close below this bull flag, because usually that would mean a trend reversal. But as you guys can see, we closed below, but we immediately closed above, and we are currently in the bull flag. Let me just extend that out as well. So as long as this bull flag really holds for the Ethereum to Bitcoin ratio, I do expect continuation to occur for Ethereum to Bitcoin. And of course, our targets really are the secondary trend line for the parabolic run, which is about the 2.6 region as it stands right now. And just something to note as well, and as you guys can see, the RSI is downtrending. The market is resetting for the Ethereum to Bitcoin charts, and it's looking like, to me, it's just really curling up very soon and most likely going to leg up to the upside. And more than likely, if we do get that breakout for the bull flag, our next key region for resistance is the 2.6. But to be honest, as you guys can see, let me just draw the targets here. Usually for bull pennants like this, the target is the flagpole. And if I drew up the flagpole is pretty close to the next resistance area of the 3/8 region. But the target is for this bull flag about the 0.035 region. So I do expect an explosive move to happen once this occurs. And when it comes to the inflection point and times, because in my opinion, time is greater than price, and the inflection point most likely will be within 23 days, and probably around 10 to 20 days. So let's see where we go, and I do expect the breakout to happen by June, maybe early July if that isn't the case. And yeah, like I said, really bullish on Ethereum to Bitcoin. I do expect the duration of this bull market, Ethereum will slowly gain dominance against Bitcoin. For Bitcoin charts, looking very bullish. We did not get a daily close below this pennant, and like I said numerous times previous videos, the target for this bull pennant is actually the 160k region, and our thesis has always been a doubling from the lows, and a doubling from that 75k region is about 150k. So I do expect this to occur. My thesis has always been green June, green July, and green August. Let's see if we get that. Of course, when it comes to the inflection point for this bull pennant, it's technically in the next 30 days. So we could still chop sideways for the next 30 days and have a moderately red June. If we go to the monthly charts, for us to print a red June, we actually have to be below the 104.7k region. And if I go back to the daily, 104.7 would actually mean we'd be below the bull pennant. So let's see where we go for that. I would rather have a monthly close above the 105k region, just so we can stay above his bull pennant. But of course, time will tell, but it's looking quite good. We just need more time for this chop solidation to occur. When it comes to Ethereum, same thing. Like it's quite boring, and we just really need to chop sideways here. It looks like we're really getting ready to curl up in the next month or so. But as long as these ranges are still respected, I don't expect any major moves to occur. Once this range high gets broken, I do expect a very fast move to the upside to that 3k region. And confirmation of that is having multiple daily closes above this purple region. Like we saw before, let me go to the daily. The last time we actually did that, we didn't have proper daily closes above. We only had one and then immediately dropped below. So I would like to see at least 2 daily closes above this region, 2 daily green candles. And then that will hint to me that Ethereum will most likely head to that 3K region. But of course, we're nowhere near that yet. We're just trading in that mid-range. And we'll have to see the results FOMC and for June, July. For the stock market, we had a moderately red day, and I do expect this higher high to be retested, and as long as it's respected, I do expect a run to the upside and therefore all-time highs in the next few months, which will of course help our risk on assets. Quick update for Toshi. Toshi's looking like it might do that fake out swing like I was saying on yesterday's video. My arbitrary line and pretty much my 2 scenarios I really saw is either a breakout to the upside and no new lows, or a quick flush to the downside, breaking below our accumulation range, and just a sweep below, no daily closes below. I just want to seek a wick below. Let's see where that goes. We might have it occur later on in the week, maybe even end of June. But nonetheless, I do think this is the most bullish scenario because this would absolutely weed out all the sellers, and this would most likely print another bullish divergence on the 6 hour. So as you guys can see, if we do have a wick down to the downside, most likely the 6 hour RSI will have a bullish divergence count to reoccur, which would mean 3 times in a row this has occurred, which most likely means that the sellers are out and there's only really buyers stepping in and holders. So if this occurs, Toshi's really well on its way to all-time highs, in my opinion. And for our run to all-time highs to occur is this major downtrend to be broken. So as long as that isn't broken, I do expect more chopping to occur for Toshi. But once it's broken, I do expect an immediate upside potential for Toshi. Next up is Alien Base. I did update you guys yesterday because obviously the price has downturned quite a bit. And it's right in my purple box. And I told you guys yesterday, look, I am looking to DCA in this purple box. And I did have people DM me if I'm actually accumulating here. And yes, I am accumulating here. I really do think when it comes to risk to return for this purple box, it's a very high risk to return area for Alien Base. And more than likely, the risk of downside is very low. The most downside, in my opinion, is this range low, which is minus 40%. Of course, that sounds pretty high to you guys listening in, but the potential of this range high breakout is to all-time highs, really. So it's a potential 9x if we get this range high successively broken, as well as this second range high. So once we do see a close above this range high and successful daily closes, not like the ones we saw back in May, if we actually do see a reversal occurring above this range high, we're in the cards of an all-time high run, which is a 9x, and of course 9x is way higher than a potential risk level of minus 40%. Therefore, this risk to reward and DCAing around this purple box is very good in my opinion, and if you guys are underinvested in Alien Base, this is obviously a really good spot in my opinion. And of course, none of this is financial advice. I'm just relaying what I see on the charts to you guys, and when it comes to fundamentals, it's all my opinion as well as what I see on the charts. So of course, I'm not a financial advisor. So if you guys want some financial advice, I would definitely suggest finding one. So that's all the market analysis. When it comes to news for the later part of the video, first one is around base chain. We just had JP Morgan announce they're actually piloting a deposit token, JPMD ticker, on base chain. So what's the ramifications of this? Really, obviously, this is going to be whitelisted. It looks like only institutional clients can actually participate in this token. And all it is really, it sounds like to me, the tokens and cash that JP Morgan gets and receives from their clients will actually be a token for the JPMD. And that token will be on base chain. And the benefits of this is TVL for base chain. JP Morgan is worth I think they have $3 trillion of assets under them. So let me just Google that quickly. Yeah, so JP Morgan holds $3 trillion. In my opinion, it's pretty easy to see if JP Morgan funnels in at least $10 billion of USD cash reserves on base chain TVL metrics will absolutely explode. And of course, JP Morgan isn't the only financial institute doing this. I really do think other financial institutes will follow along. So when it comes to base chain potentially hitting $100 billion at the end of this bull cycle, it's not a joke. We're seeing this in front of our eyes, and a lot of people are actually just looking and not really investigating properly. This is just the first kind of steps for this to occur. and base chain will be the home of stablecoins as well as Ethereum, and that's why we do think Ethereum will really outperform Bitcoin. I do expect the narrative around stablecoins to really pump base chain, and base chain will obviously capture the net inflows from all of this, and most likely our base native tokens like TOSHI, Alien Base, etc. So looking very bullish for base chain and looking very bullish for our base native token assets. Next up is by the Super Bitcoin Bro. So this is just covering the Bitcoin daily chart. No reason to be bearish above a rising 50 moving average. FOMC is this Wednesday obviously in 12 hours. And it's most likely a non-event unless we get a surprise rate cut. I'm not expecting a rate cut, so it's most likely going to be a non-event and introduce more market clarity in the markets. And as you guys can see, we're actually retesting it quite well here. And we're also going to get a bullish reversal on the MACD. So more than likely, I do expect a nice little bounce here. We might get a fake out to the downside, just looking at the Bitcoin, the liquidation heat map. So we might get a wick down during the FOMC, and then a nice little pump to the upside after that, because it's looking like this moving average has been respected quite often. So as you guys can see, we touched it back in 5th of June, touched it in, I believe that was the 12th of June, and also yesterday. So I do expect another wick to the downside, and then a nice fast move after the FOMC. Next up is by Income Sharks. A week of war headlines, and Ethereum has held up the same price for 4 days. This is an asset that sells off when someone sneezes, and yet it's still holding strong. This just shows to me, with all the conflict we've been having the past 2 weeks, and just a lot of noise and a lot of bad news happening, Ethereum is still holding support, and support is support until it isn't. And in my opinion, the way we're holding this with all the bad news coming out in the markets, it's really looking like Ethereum wants to have a leg up to the upside. And if we do get that leg up to the upside, of course, the next key region is that 3K area, then the 3.3K area. I would be terrified to short this. Logically, if you want to take profits, but if you were out camping for a week and came home and saw this chart, you'd be bullish. Look, guys, if you're going to be bearish, you just have to zoom out, because even if we do chop sideways and have another red month, June, July, this is still technically a bull flag, and the target is well beyond 150K. So as long as we chop here, all the news is just noise and just really try and distract what you guys are seeing on the charts. And if you guys are really overwhelmed on what's happening in the public space, just look at the charts. We just have to wait for that range high to break or the range low. Of course, if we get multiple daily closes below this, the bear market will probably begin. But it could also be said the same for the upside. If we get a break above there, most likely Bitcoin will be well on its way to all-time highs. And we can see this on the bull pennant. I'll relay you guys the charts. And when it comes to updates, look, all we have to really see and wait for is a break to the upside. And right now, as it stands, it is the 109K region. But of course, once we hit that inflection point, it'll be at the 108K region. So we just have to wait. Be bullish. Don't be overwhelmed by all the news, because more than likely we will break to the upside. And a lot of data points I've been relaying to you guys just makes me even more personally bullish. And all it does really is gives us time accumulating really strong base native token assets that will really, I guess, attract all the net flows that will come for base chain. So of course we had the JP Morgan news, and that will absolutely explode volume and TVL metrics on base chain. So of course I want to cover you guys more tokens around base chain. So be sure to like and comment down below what other tokens I'm covering, because I really do think tokens like TOSHI and Alien Base will do really well. And right now, as it stands, they're in accumulating phases right now. And more than likely, if we do see that mass adoption for base chain and Ethereum to Bitcoin breaking out, these tokens like Alien Base and TOSHI will really break out to the upside. But of course, when it comes to that, you guys can really just throw a dart on any base native token asset and it'll probably do well. So you don't have to necessarily buy into these tokens. You can buy into others, because I really do think most of base chain will capture this adoption and capture a lot of the Ethereum net flows. But that's all to the video, guys. If you guys like the video, like and subscribe. Comment down below if you guys have any questions around my content, as well as any other tokens you guys want me to cover. But that's all to the video, guys. Have a good one. Have a good day. Peace.